Hello, everyone. I'm glad you're here because today we're about to embark on a fascinating journey, one that will take us deep into the heart of a name we all recognize but may not truly understand. Today, we're diving into a name we all know, Africa. It's a word that echoes across continents, a name that conjures images of vast savannas, ancient civilizations, and vibrant cultures. But have you ever stopped to wonder what lies behind those 6 simple letters? We see it on maps, hear it in the news, and use it every day. The name Africa is everywhere, on school globes, in history books, in headlines, and in conversations about the world's past, present, and future. But have you ever wondered where the name actually comes from? Who decided to call this immense, diverse land Africa? And why did that name endure through the centuries? Who first called this vast, diverse continent Africa? Was it a single person, a powerful empire? Or did the name evolve over time, shaped by countless voices and cultures? The answer isn't simple. It's a story layered with history, culture, and mystery. The origins of the name are shrouded in debate, with each theory offering a glimpse into a different era and worldview. Some say the Romans named it, drawing from their word Africa, to describe the lands they encountered beyond the Mediterranean. For them, it was a frontier, a place of both wonder and challenge. Others point to the Phoenicians, those legendary seafarers and traders who may have used a word meaning dust or sunny to describe the continent's northern shores. And some believe the name has roots in the continent's own languages, perhaps derived from ancient Berber or Egyptian words, reflecting the land's deep and indigenous heritage. Each theory offers a unique window into the past, revealing how different people saw and understood this remarkable place. The name Africa is more than a label. It's a story told by many voices across many generations. The story of Africa's name is a puzzle, with pieces scattered across time and civilizations. Every artifact, every old map, every ancient text adds a new clue, but the full picture remains just out of reach. Names carry weight. They tell us about identity and history. They shape how we see ourselves and how others see us. The name Africa is no exception. It's a word that has traveled through empires, languages, and centuries. For a continent as ancient and diverse as Africa, the story of its name is a story about the world itself. It's about the meeting of cultures, the clash of empires, and the enduring spirit of its people. It's about power, perspective, and who gets to write history. The act of naming is never neutral. It reflects who holds the pen and whose stories are told. So let's pull back the curtain and explore the untold origins of this powerful name. Let's look beyond the surface and discover the hidden layers that make up the story of Africa. This isn't just a history lesson. It's a journey into understanding our world on a deeper level. By tracing the roots of a single name, we uncover the connections that bind us all together. The story of Africa's name is a human story, full of questions and quests for meaning. It's about curiosity, discovery, and the search for identity that unites us across time and place. It reminds us that history is a tapestry, not a straight line. Every thread, every voice, every perspective adds richness to the story. Get comfortable and open your mind. Prepare to challenge what you think you know and to see the familiar in a new way. By the end, you'll see the name Africa in a whole new light. Let's get started on this remarkable journey together. Our journey begins with the Romans, whose legacy still echoes across the sun-baked landscapes of North Africa. Their arrival marked a turning point in the region's history, leaving behind not just ruins, but a new identity for the land itself. The Romans established a thriving province in what's now Tunisia, building grand cities, amphitheaters, and intricate mosaics that still captivate visitors today. They encountered the local Berber people, whom they called the Afri. Drawing inspiration from these people, the Romans named the land after them, forever linking the region's identity to its earliest inhabitants. The meaning of Afri is still debated by historians. Some believe it comes from the Latin aprica, meaning sunny, a fitting description for this radiant land. Others trace it to the Greek Afriki, meaning free from cold, highlighting the region's warm, inviting climate that stood in stark contrast to the chillier lands of Europe. For the Romans, the sun and warmth of North Africa were striking and unforgettable, shaping their perception of the land as a place of abundance and vitality. The Romans often named lands after local tribes, adding the suffix "k", so Africa literally meant land of the Afri. This naming tradition reflected their respect for local cultures, even as they expanded their empire. At first, Africa referred only to a small region near Carthage, prized as a breadbasket for Rome. Its fertile fields supplied grain that fed the heart of the empire. Over time, as Roman knowledge and influence grew, the name Africa stretched to cover more territory, gradually encompassing vast lands beyond its original borders. Roman geographers and traders played a key role in expanding the term, mapping new regions and connecting distant peoples through commerce and exploration. Even after the Roman Empire fell, the name Africa endured, passed down through centuries and preserved in maps, manuscripts, and memory. This Roman origin is powerful, rooted in historical records, language, and the enduring influence of a civilization that shaped the world. It's a reminder of how a name can start small, tied to a single tribe or region, and grow over centuries to define an entire continent and its people. But the story of Africa's name doesn't end here. The land's history stretches back far beyond the Romans, into the mists of prehistory. Let's look even further back, to the earliest chapters of human civilization, and discover the deeper roots of this remarkable land. Before the Romans, the Phoenicians, master sailors from modern-day Lebanon, dominated the Mediterranean. Their famous colony, Carthage, was in the heart of what would become Africa. Some believe the name Africa has Phoenician roots. In Phoenician, afar means dust, a fitting description for North Africa's landscape. Another word, faraka, means to separate, hinting at a land apart. The Phoenicians may have named the region for its environment or its separation from their homeland. When the Romans conquered Carthage, they likely adapted local names. The Roman Afri could be a Latinized version of a Phoenician word. This theory adds an earlier chapter, suggesting the Romans inherited the name. The Phoenician connection deepens the mystery, but there's more to the story. What if the name Africa came from within the continent itself? Some trace it to the Berber word Ifri, meaning cave, describing the region's ancient cave dwellers. This theory centers the name on the people who lived there first. North Africa's cave dwellings sheltered people for millennia. The name could have evolved from Ifri to Afri, then adopted by the Romans. Later, after the Arab conquest, the region became known as Ifriqiya in Arabic. The Arabic name closely mirrors the Latin, showing cultural continuity. Arab scholars preserved and spread the name through their maps and writings. The name Africa is a story of exchange, adaptation, and survival. For centuries, Africa referred only to the continent's north. The lands south of the Sahara had their own names and identities. So how did Africa come to mean the whole continent? During the European age of exploration, mapmakers needed a single label. They extended the classical name Africa to the entire landmass. This was an act of power, imposing a single identity on a diverse continent. Local names like Akabulan were ignored. By the 19th century, during the scramble for Africa, the name was set in stone. The colonial era cemented Africa as the universal term, but also tied it to a history of foreign domination. The name's journey reflects both expansion and erasure. So, which theory is right? The truth is, we don't know for sure. The Roman theory is widely accepted, but it doesn't explain where Afri came from. The Phoenician and Berber theories offer possible prequels, suggesting the Romans adapted an existing name. The Berber Ifri theory is compelling, but lacks written evidence. The Phoenician Afar theory is logical, but also unproven. The name likely evolved through layers of contact: Berber, Phoenician, Roman, and Arabic. Each civilization added its own meaning. The story of Africa's name is a complex narrative of exchange. The lack of a final answer reminds us that history is a living conversation. Sometimes the journey is more important than the destination. The name Africa carries a complicated legacy. It began in one region, was stretched by outsiders, and became a label for a vast land. For a long time, it was a name imposed from outside, but meaning can be reclaimed. In the 20th century, independence movements transformed Africa into a symbol of unity and pride. Pan-Africanism turned the name into a rallying cry for freedom and solidarity. Organizations like the Organization of African Unity reclaimed the name. Africa became a political and cultural identity, forged in the fires of liberation. The name's legacy is both a reminder of the past and a symbol of reclamation. It shows the power of people to redefine their own story. Today, Africa is a name filled with pride and possibility. A new generation is shaping its meaning through innovation, art, and culture. Made in Africa now signals quality and creativity. Artists and thinkers are telling their own stories, challenging old stereotypes. There's renewed interest in pre-colonial names like Akebulan, honoring deeper heritage. The story of Africa didn't begin with outsiders. It's ancient and ongoing. The name now represents a shared identity, deep heritage, and limitless potential. It's big enough to hold the dreams of over 1 billion people. Africa's journey from a Roman province to a global symbol is still unfolding. Its most exciting chapter is being written right now. As we reach the end of our journey together, let's pause and reflect. The question, who named Africa, is not one with a single, simple answer. Instead, it's a mystery that has fascinated historians, linguists, and explorers for centuries, inviting us to look deeper into the continent's rich and layered past. The name Africa is like a vibrant tapestry, woven from countless threads. Roman conquerors, Phoenician traders, Berber storytellers, Arabic scholars, and European explorers all left their mark. Each culture contributed its own colors and patterns, shaping the identity of a continent that has always been a crossroads of civilizations. Every layer of this history adds new depth and complexity, reminding us that Africa's story is not linear, but a mosaic of influences, languages, and traditions that continue to evolve. History is rarely neat or straightforward. It's a dynamic story of movement, exchange, and shifting power, of people migrating, trading, and blending cultures across vast landscapes and generations. The name Africa itself is a living artifact, a word whose meaning has been shaped and reshaped by each new generation. It carries echoes of the past, yet it is constantly being redefined in the present. Today, Africans are taking ownership of that name, defining it on their own terms. Across the continent, people are infusing Africa with new meaning, one of unity, innovation, creativity, and pride in their heritage and future. A name's origin may be rooted in the past, but it doesn't dictate its destiny. The true power of a name lies in how it is embraced and transformed by those who carry it forward. The future meaning of Africa will be written by its people, by writers, artists, leaders, and dreamers who are shaping a new narrative for the continent every day. So next time you hear the word Africa, think of its incredible journey of sun and dust, ancient caves and hand-drawn maps, and above all, the vibrant, diverse people who give it life and meaning. Africa is not defined by its past alone, but by the bold and hopeful future it is creating. One city, one innovation, one dream at a time. Thank you for joining this exploration. May the story of Africa continue to inspire curiosity, respect, and hope in all of us.